Hey, I'm Aaron Maurer. I'm a senior engineer manager at Slack, and I take my coffee no cream but brown sugar.
Hey, I'm Katrina. I'm a machine learning engineer in Slack. So I don't drink coffee, but I drink tea. I have like the soothing tea beside me at the moment. Yeah.
The thing I think about a lot is like, unless you're at a very weird company, like ML is like a very small portion of the total like engineering at a company. The difficulty we found is we had to have our tools be able to layer on top of all our other engineering requirements, which were built without much interest or thought towards what made sense to ML. And that sort of felt like the primary difficulty. So if we can sort of solve that problem where like these things layer in cleanly, I think, like companies, we'd love to spend less time on MLOps and more time on solving business problems with machine learning. But that's the sort of the river that needs to be crossed from my point of view. And it's kind of like what I always think about that it seems to pop up a lot is like experimentation. From our point of view, like running an experiment is measuring the business impact of a model change through like a generic experimentation platform for our company as a whole, mostly used by non-ML people. But then I should preface here, I am an advisor to one of the companies trying to build an experiment platform. But then I always see like ML ops companies come in and like offer their own brand of experimentation management that's sort of separate from that. And that's one of these areas where it feels like, again, it's difficult to layer in cleanly on top of the more generic engineering and product problems across the company.
Yeah, the really tough thing about an experimentation platform in particular is that it's such a deep integration into your system.
Yeah.
Like it has to touch production and data metrics and the whole stack. So I think that's something that Google did bespoke, and it was still not great. And I think every company, I think most companies that I talk to kind of roll their own version of the experimentation platform.
Yeah. So the company I'm advising, Apple, I've actually been kind of impressed with how well they've been able to manage that integration. So I think that gives me some hope for like the MLOps space too. But it's a ton of touch points and it's a ton of places where you need to integrate deeply, and it's not an easy problem.
And maybe to tie it back to the beginning of the talk, look, you talked about how your internal service, a strong, simple API that people just get the right thing from. I think a lot of MLOps integrations will boil down to people that can figure out where those API boundaries are and how to make a strong, simple, easy to integrate with API that you can have an excellent ML engineering team behind that actually like levels things up. And that'll look different depending on what part of the stack you're in. But I think that's kind of the key secret sauce.
I think there's a lot of hype around generative AI and like, I don't think it's going to totally replace like some of the more bespoke feature-based things. But I think that's like fundamentally what OpenAI got right. It's like, here's this API where you just you send us text and we send you back text, and you can put the complexity in text and we'll deal with it. And that's like almost more than just how cool the models are, just that they've distilled it down to that is like really, really appealing.